Hi everyone, this is Ilsa, and today I'm going to do a new video of the series that I started a while ago. It's called Story Behind the Camera, and today I'm going to talk about how I found my soulmate, Chris, which is my fiancé, and I know that a few of you really want to know how we met each other, and some of you might not be interested in knowing how we met and like mushy kind of love stories and stuff like that. So if you don't like that, then please do not continue watching this video. So you're warned. So let me just get started at the beginning when I met Chris for the first time and how we got in touch. Chris and me met for the first time on, if I'm not mistaken, the 21st of March 2012. I started my ASMR YouTube channel on the 8th of February 2012, and when I entered the community I didn't have a Facebook page yet, but after about 1.5 to 2 weeks, I realized that it was easy or handy to make a Facebook page so that I could connect with my viewers and my subscribers. And that's when it basically all got started. I was on Facebook, and one of my close friends was Kelly, Miss Autumn in Red, and she shut down her channel, unfortunately, and I have no idea how she is doing because I can't get a hold of her. But the funny thing is, she actually brought Chris and me together, or at least she made us meet up, at least on the internet. So back then, Chris, Whispering Weaver, was busy with creating a radio station online on the internet for the ASMR community, which was called ASMR Radio. And I was looking into that too. I also wanted to start a radio channel online for the ASMR community. And Kelly, Miss Autumn in Red, was part of the team of ASMR Radio. Chris invited her to become a host, and he was trying to keep it on the down low, but he was looking for new members for ASMR Radio. So Kelly, Miss Autumn in Red, figured that I would be a perfect fit for the team, so she introduced me to Chris. And that's when it happened. I met Chris on Facebook, and I didn't know him in any kind of way. So we got in touch because I had to set up different kinds of programs on my computer to being able to broadcast with. So he talked me through that, and I noticed really quickly that I had a huge weakness for his voice because he was using this studio microphone, really good quality, and that made his voice like really manly and sensual. And the way how he spoke, it was like, it sounded very sophisticated in a way that I liked it. So from the first moment on when I heard his voice, I had a weakness for him. I didn't know if I could fall in love with him because it wasn't love on first sight, but I definitely felt that there was something there that had, how do you say that? I definitely felt that it was possible that I would fall in love with him if I would talk with him more often. So okay, I became a host of ASMR Radio, and we spoke on a daily basis. And after that was on the 21st of March, and after a few days he made me partner of the radio station, because back then he was doing a study for as a firefighter, and he was like, if something ever happens to me and a project has to continue, I need to have someone who is reliable and who is dedicated to the ASMR community. So he made me partners, and that was right before ASMR Day. ASMR Day, International ASMR Day, is on the 9th of April. And that started in 2012. So he was trying to get the team together and to get the radio station up before International ASMR Day. So a few days before International ASMR Day, we had a few chats on Facebook, and nothing special really. But then when he made me partners the day after, he told me that he had a crush on me. And apparently back then there were a few people in the community who already suspected that. I don't know which people those are, but yeah, Chris told me that a few people already suspected that he had a crush on me. So the day that he told me that he had a crush on me, it was really, really crazy, because he told me this on a program on the computer where you can talk to each other and you have to hold a button. So he told me that he was really shy to tell me that he had a crush on me, so he was practicing it and saying it over and over again. And when we were talking, there was a point that he actually held the button down and just said it. So that was really cute, I think, when he told me that. And when he told me that, it took me a few seconds to realize what he just told me. And obviously, I lived in the Netherlands and he lived in Canada, so before he even told me, the days before, I was already like, man, if this is going to be really serious, then I'm going to be in a long distance relationship, because I had a weakness for him already. So when he told me that he had a crush on me, I told him straight up, like you do. And from that moment on, my entire life basically changed for the better. Back then I was in a relationship that was dying with one of the guys that I went to high school with, and he had a lot of issues, and he also had an eating disorder, my ex, and I had an eating disorder as well, so that was only stimulating me even more not to get better. So we were basically making each other even sicker than we already were. And back then I was looking at different kinds of therapies to get out of it, because a few months before that I had a breakdown, and I really, really needed to work on myself, and I really wanted to get out of this relationship, but I simply didn't have the guts to get out of it, because I was afraid that I would be alone. I've always been afraid of being alone, and that nobody would like me and stuff like that. So when I met Chris, it was something really different. I could feel right from the start that I felt something different for this guy, and it's not something that I can really explain in words, but it is something that I will tell you later on what it was exactly. And obviously I've had more relationships that I was like, okay, this could be it, but I didn't have the feeling that it was it, like the complete package, the whole picture complete of what I wanted. And when I met Chris, it was a different story. So when he told me that he had a crush on me, and that I admitted that I really liked him too, I ended my relationship right away, and I started talking with Chris. a few days after, we got into really deep conversations and we got to know each other a lot better, and we talked on Skype for like 6 to 7 hours a day, and I'm not even over exaggerating, it's true. Like, we were talking for 6 to 7 hours a day, and this is what I was talking about, that I could feel that it was so different. It was like we knew each other for years, and we were talking on the phone, or on Skype in this case, and we would finish each other's sentences, and he would say what I was thinking and the other way around, and it was like this is crazy. It's almost like he's my other half. And yeah, with a few weeks went over that, and the connection that we got and the way how we felt about each other developed really, really fast. And I decided to book a ticket and to visit Canada. I've never went off the continent, so it was one big adventure, and I told my grandma and aunt about it, that I was going to visit Canada, because obviously if it would be a weirdo or a creepy guy or whatever, if his intentions weren't good, then obviously someone had to know where I would be, right? So that's what I did, and I booked a ticket, and on the 21st of April 2012, I saw him for the first time. So that's when I arrived in Canada. It was a pretty long flight for me because I've never been off the continent, so it was like 8.5 hours. That's how long the flight was. And then when I arrived at the hotel and I was standing at the counter to pay for the hotel room and stuff like that, he came in 5 minutes later. It was like crazy timing because he had to work, and he already told me that he would be a lot later, but he got off work a few hours earlier because his boss gave him the permission to. So then we saw each other for the first time, and it was really crazy. It was really crazy when I saw him for the first time, because he just walked up to me and he gave me a kiss on my mouth, and that's it. From that moment on, when we saw each other, I knew that that was it. It's really crazy. It's something I really can't describe in words, but it's something that you can feel like so deeply rooted and so pure. And I can definitely tell you that if you find it, you know that you found it. There is no doubt about that. And that's what I had with Chris. So we got to know each other so fast before I even visited him, in all those hours that we spoke. Like, I would stay up like the entire night so that I could talk with him, because that time difference was 6 hours. So here it was in the Netherlands, it was 6 hours later than it was in Canada, which is not very handy, because that means that in 6 in the morning it's like at noon already in Canada. Or I mean, I'm sorry, if it's 6 in the morning over here, then in Canada it's 12 o'clock at night. So it was a really big time difference. But I messed up my entire sleeping schedule before I went there, because I was so enthusiastic, and I was really, really having the feeling that I should really try this, because that's something that I've learned over the years with many things, not just love, is that if you have the feeling that you need to do something, and you can feel deep down in your heart that that's something that you want to do, even though all the people around you say, like, don't do it, don't, because of this and because of that danger, and did you think about that already? But sometimes it's worth the risk. And even if it wouldn't be worth the risk, I still think it's worth the risk, because if you don't try it, you'll never know, and you'll always wonder what could have happened. And that's, at least for me, the last thing that I want to do in my life is to wonder what could have happened. So that's the reason why if I want to do something, I always take action and act upon it right away, because I don't want to wonder, if you know what I mean, for the rest of my life. So that's the reason why I figured that it would be worth it to visit him in Canada. And that year before, I worked my ass off to save up, so I had enough money to take a plane and visit Canada. So I stayed there for 2 weeks, and this is the first picture of us together. I can show you. And yeah, Canada, Toronto. I really had the feeling as soon as I got there that I felt at home. It was also because Chris really made me feel comfortable. Back then I had an eating disorder, and I had a very low self-esteem. I just got started with my ASMR YouTube channel, so my life was in a roller coaster, and it was changing like crazy, but for the better. So yeah, I stayed in Toronto, in Canada, with Chris for 2 weeks, and it was amazing. I had a feeling that I was a teenager again, but also there was something, like a whole different aspect that I was always looking for in relationships that I've never found before. I've had quite a few relationships before I met Chris, and already when I was 16 years old, which is almost 10 years ago now, I always had the feeling that I was ready to live together with someone, but I just couldn't find the right guy for some reason. And when I found Chris, I knew right away that that was it. And in the days after that, or rather the 3 weeks after that, when I was in Toronto, we got to know each other a lot better. We did a lot of romantic things, having dinner, a lot of romantic nights, walking through the city, just enjoying life. And after those 3 weeks, I knew for sure that he was the one. And it was funny because since I was a kid, I always had the feeling that I would end up with a partner that would speak English, and that I would have a future with like the English language for some reason. I didn't obviously know in what kind of way, but I knew that it was only a matter of time before that would happen. So I couldn't believe that it was actually happening, because if someone would have told me 6 months before that would happen, I would have said, oh my god, you're crazy, of course that's not going to happen. But I know as no other that life is full of surprises as long as you keep your eyes open and that you are willing to take the risk, put the fear aside, and just go for it. So after those 3 weeks, I got to know a few family members, a few friends, but mostly we got to know each other a lot better. And then I went back to the Netherlands again, which was really tough. I was just crying at the airport, because I was like, oh my god, I just don't want to go. Like, we had such a good time. And yeah, I went back to the 21st of April. That's when I arrived in Canada, and that's the day that we're officially together. So then I went back to the Netherlands after 3 weeks, and I stayed in the Netherlands for 3 weeks, and then after that I went back to Canada again. So in total, I think in 3 months' time, I've spent like six weeks of that in Canada, which was really amazing. And yeah, after that it was really, really tough. We didn't see each other for 5 months, and I can tell you, if you have the opportunity not to go into a long distance relationship, just don't. But we've made it. Let me just put it like that. It was really tough because we miss each other so much, and once your emotions take over, it's really hard to think straight and to move forward. So it was quite a challenge to get through those 5 months, but our love and understanding and respect for each other as human beings was big enough to to continue. So after those 5 months, Chris finally got to visit the Netherlands. Like, I had an apartment here in the Netherlands, so it was really easy for him to visit the Netherlands because we didn't have to stay in a hotel, so it wasn't cost like extra money and stuff like that. So he stayed with me for 3 months in the Netherlands, and that was actually the test to just see if we could live together, because obviously it's nice to be in a hotel for 3 weeks and then another 3 weeks, but that does not really give you a realistic point of view if you can live together, because you have to get used to each other's habits and just the way how people function in general, if you can live with that. So he came to visit the Netherlands and we had a lot of fun, and we discovered that we were basically in the ideal perfect situation. Yeah, it just went really naturally, and it was really, really nice to finally have a person who can understand you. And I'm not going to tell you like, oh, we never had fights and discussions and stuff like that, because obviously we did. Who doesn't? Maybe people don't, I don't know, but at least we did, because we both had to find our place in a relationship, you know? It's like, especially for him, because he never went off the continent either. So the fact that he was in a different country and with different things, and I never lived with someone in the first place. From when I was 16, I've never lived together with someone, so for me it was also really weird to have a person in my house. So that's something that I had to get used to as well, but it was something that we went through relatively easily. And after those 3 weeks, yeah, we discovered that we really wanted to live together, and our relationship developed really rapidly in like so many ways. And what was also really fun, what a lot of people don't know, is that Chris did a lot of marketing behind, or did a lot of marketing for my ASMR channel. He made the website for me, and he basically taught me how you can expose your work to the people. So he taught me a lot about how people can find your YouTube channel. So he really helped me to develop my YouTube channel and to make it grow, if not all of it, at least the marketing and stuff like that. And now obviously I'm a lot more knowledgeable as well, but when it comes down to video editing, lighting, how to film, when to film, stuff like that is really something that Chris taught me. And without Chris, I obviously don't know where I would be. I'm really grateful that he helped me with that. So that's how we found our balance too, in like a working kind of relationship. So then Chris went back to the Netherlands, and we were both in tears at the airport, because especially after 3 months, you just don't want to be separated and you just want to live together. So Chris went back, and that was, I think, that was in the beginning of 2013, so last year. And then we didn't see each other for a few weeks, but obviously we kept in touch. In the meantime, I was just focusing on my ASMR channel and making videos, because that's what I really, really liked doing, and which I still really like. And I slowly discovered that I really have the feeling that making ASMR videos is what I'm supposed to do. And some people might find it nonsense, or maybe some people don't believe in such thing, that there is something out there that you have the feeling that you're supposed to do. I'm sorry about that. I'm one of those people who does believe that. And so yeah, with that freedom that you can take your full-time occupation with you anywhere you go, it was all of a sudden a whole world opened up for me, and I had all the freedom in the world to do whatever I wanted to do. So I decided in the beginning of 2013 to visit Canada again for the third time. And yeah, I stayed there. Chris moved in the meantime, and after I visit Toronto again, he came with me back to the Netherlands again for 3 months. And in those 3 months last year, we really got to know each other and spoke about the things that we wanted to do, and I really wanted to move because the reason why I wanted to move to Toronto is because I really like the city. The people are really, really nice. I'm not saying that the people in the Netherlands are not nice, but in general, I had a way better connection with the people and the country itself in general over there than I have here in the Netherlands. And plus, I was already speaking English, and Chris didn't speak any Dutch, so for me, it only made sense that I would move to Canada with him. So that's what happened. Chris stayed here for another 3 months, and in those 3 months we spoke everything through. I had to do so many things to get rid of my own apartment and all the, like, basically the last 9 years of life or 7 years of life that I lived alone. I had to let go of that, so that wasn't easy, but I definitely knew that it was worth it because I found Chris. Like, I'm done looking. I found my soulmate. I really have the feeling that he's my soulmate, and the connection that we have is really, really goes really deep on so many levels. And it's amazing when you find your soulmate. And when you do find it, you want to go for it all the way. So that's yeah, those kind of things. That's what we spoke about in the last 3 months that he was with me in the Netherlands in 2013. And in the meantime, we also organized an ASMR tour. So we brought people together who are ASMR video content creators, and we filmed a documentary in the ASMR, or not, in the YouTube studios in London. So right before I moved in August 2013, Chris wrote an entire script of the things that he wanted to film, and I had the connections with YouTube to get us into the studio. So that's how we organized the very first ASMR world tour in the UK, and we're planning on doing other ASMR tours as well, or yeah, ASMR tours around the world basically. So we're still working on that. But yeah, after we did that, it was time to pack and move to Canada. And then we stayed, once we were in Canada, we stayed in a guest house for 2 weeks. I sprained my ankle really bad. And we're really lucky that in the first 2 days we found an apartment where we wanted to live, because when I sprained my ankle, I wasn't able to walk for 2 to 3 weeks, and it was like, yeah, okay, I just moved to another country and then something like that happens, which was really unfortunate. But yeah, we found an apartment in Toronto. It's close to the center, and that's basically where we live right now. Like, I'm not officially immigrated or anything. I will, but because I also wanted to visit the Netherlands still a few times, I decided not to do that yet. So in the next half year, I'll decide what I'm really going to do. So in March, I'm going back to Canada for half a year. And yeah, that's basically our love story of how it happened. So there are a few more things. There's two more things that I would like to talk about, and that's that it's amazing to have a partner that you meet through the YouTube community, basically, and through the ASMR community, and that you have such a good connection with it, which I never thought would be possible because I I was always very skeptical about like online, finding people online, but I have to be honest, now that it happened to me, my entire mindsetting changed about that, and my opinion changed about it. It's really amazing, and if you ever get the chance to meet someone that you think might suit you very well, and that is the person, that is the one, and you have the financial, you're in a financial situation, and in general just in a good situation to do it, just go for it. Don't think about what other people say. Obviously, if they care about you and they want you to be careful, that's okay, but they shouldn't stop you from doing and pursuing goals and dreams that you want to do, because the only person that you can blame for it if you don't do it is yourself. So don't let those things in life hold you back. Just go for it, because before you know it, you meet your soulmate and your life changes 180 degrees like it did with me. And I never saw it coming. I really never saw it coming, and I didn't expect it in any kind of way. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if someone would have told me that that would have happened 2 years ago, I would have said, you're crazy. Something like that would never happen to me. Well, guess what? It did. So it's totally worth it. And other than that, it's amazing to have a person that understands ASMR. He never experienced ASMR when we met each other for the first time. But in 2013, I gave him his first tingles with a scalp massage, with my nails, when I was giving him a scalp massage. And yeah, it's really cool to have someone who supports you in what you're doing, and that you can develop together as a couple, and that you're in a relationship in general where you don't have to be ashamed of yourself, and that you respect and accept each other for who you are. And that's really, really important. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video, and to give like a deeper message, is that you're worth it, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Just follow your heart and do what you want to do. And if you're not happy in your relationship, then don't feel sorry to stop the relationship and look for something that you have in mind, because it is out there. I'm not encouraging anyone to end their relationship, don't get me wrong, but if you have the feeling that that's not it, keep looking, because eventually it's your life that you have to live. And if you're not happy in your relationship, then it's really up to you to change that, and to look for something else, and never stop looking. So yeah, that was it for today. I always have to be in the right mind setting to talk about personal things, because sometimes I don't really feel like talking about personal things, or just not really in the right mind setting. But today I was in the right mind setting to talk about this. So I hope that it's not too boring for you, and I hope that you enjoyed this story, and I hope that it encourages you to keep your eyes open, never give up hope, and even though you don't believe in it right now, that doesn't mean that it can't happen. So I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone.